Before I start the video, I just want to say that I installed these two panels. I originally, in the video, you'll see I wired them in series, where I just jumped one to the other. And then I found out that it was more efficient to wire in parallel, which has all the positives and negatives going out this area here to my controller. So in series, let's say this one is blocked by shade, it's going to decrease my output of all the panels equally. If I'm in parallel, if this one's shaded, it just decreases my power down to 75%, my output of the panels. So just want to let you know, you'll see in the video where I wired all in series, and then I remove a bunch of stuff and I change it over to parallel. So thanks for watching. I hope you watch the whole video. It's not the best video, but to give you an idea of if you want to install solar on your trailer, what you need to do. Here we go. So you may or may not have seen the installation video I did for these two solar panels, 100 watts each, with the tilting brackets. I did them maybe over a year ago. They've been working out good, but I've discovered that I want more power, more solar power to charge my batteries, because now I have an inverter, which I'll provide a link to in the description below. And so I decided to do this. I thought I might be doing it someday, adding the two more panels, 100 watts each. On these, I'm not going to do the tilting brackets like I did on these. I'm finding that I don't really tilt them up much, but they're kind of nice to get tilt up and clean underneath. So anyway, that's what I'm going to plan on doing. So I'll do a short video on this. Hopefully it's short, on how I do it. So what I got here, I'll show you some of the stuff I got ready to go. Is some of the materials I'll need. I have denatured alcohol to clean things up before I put ether bond tape down, the Windex to clean up the denatured alcohol, caulking gun, scrapers, cutters, drill bit, tape, socket, screwdriver, a drill drive bit. Then I have these come from Renogy. They're 5-foot extension cords, so I can jump from panel to panel across the roof. Ether bond tape, lap sealant, and then I have these screws that came with the hold down brackets, and then I have these nuts, which I explained in the first video how they work. I have these I bought at a local hardware store, utility knife. And so what I plan on doing is going off my charge controller to the panel and just go negative deposit, negative positive, negative positive, then negative all the way back to the controller to negative on the controller. When I bought a premium kit for the first two panels I installed, and this controller was a 20 let's see, I think it's 20 amp controller. What I did was I changed it to a 40 amp. When I upgraded with them, I bought the 20, I returned the 20, got a 40 because I thought I want to install more panels someday. It's only like $20 more. So I did that. And then I've had to change some wires below to my battery, which I'll show you in a little bit. So what I plan on doing is on these here, I'm going to use well nuts here to hold the bracket down. And then on this one over here, I'm going to try and catch the aluminum framing for the sidewall on these here and put these screws in here, and I'll be doing the lap sealant underneath these here, the brackets, and then some above, and then I'll do Etherbond tape over the top. These panels that I just got the other day, which is maybe a year and a half later from when I got the other ones, they are actually 1 inch narrower, and then they're in length. They're about 4 inches shorter in length, so they made them smaller and they still do 100 watts. So I guess that's technology changing over time. So I'm going to get this going here, and I'll keep you posted on what I'm doing. I got everything wired up just like the diagram says to do. Appears to be working down below at my controller. So this here, I'll just show you what I've done here. Scraped the Etherbond tape off. That was a lot of fun. It's on there pretty good. I've taped the wires together because I'm going to run them across here, all the way across here, and then tape them down. So I just kind of got these wrapped with electrical tape so they will hold it in place till I get the Etherbond tape in place. So I'm going to go ahead and probably screw down the panels and then get all my tape in place. I have the outside edge of the trailer screwed down. You can see the Dicor. I put it down first and then tighten down the screws. So the outside edge is done. Except I'm going to take the Etherbond and put it over the top edge here. So that'll be pretty soon here. On top of the roof here, what I did was I installed the well nut one here and then the threaded screw here, just like that. I felt this was sufficient, one of them, to hold it down. And I have the Dicor under that also, and then I'm going to put the Etherbond tape down on top of it. So I have the Etherbond tape on here over the tabs. It's not the prettiest job, but it'll work. Some of this here, where it's kind of blobbed, it has the Dicor underneath it. So this should hold it. I also did the other side. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the cable that goes across. It's starting to get dark, but I need to get this done because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. Well, it did rain last night. This is the next day, and so I got it done. Everything's buttoned up. Here's my tilted solar panels, and then the stationary ones that I just did. I'll take you in here and show you what it looks like. So I ran the 2 wires across to these panels, got everything Eterna down. I've been calling this Etherbond, but it's Eterna. I don't know why that's stuck in my head to say Etherbond, but it's Eterna tape. So that's all in. I got it all in. I've taped it down here and then put the Dicor self-leveling caulking in there. So it's all ready. So I'm going to put these panels down, and then I'm going to show you down below what I have going on down there. Before I go down below, I'll show you here what it looks like with the panels in the lowered position, the ones that tilt. So there it is, 400 watts. Here I am down below. It's starting to rain on me now. This is my 40 amp charge controller from Renogy. In my other video that I'll put in the description below, I ran the wires up the arm here, the awning arm, and up onto the roof. So I didn't have to drill any new holes in the roof. If you go in here, you can see the 40 amp charge controller. And then I installed this shut-off switch so that when the power is coming from the solar panels, it goes into the charge controller. I'm able to just shut it off, and then if I'm working on the batteries or something, it isn't sending juice into the batteries while I'm working on it. So I was able to utilize the wires that were existing for my 2 panels, left those alone, they're adequate size, and the fuse that came with it that's up by the panels is a 10 amp fuse. Didn't have to change that at all, but I did have to change these wires that go to the battery, the positive and negative. They were 10 gauge, and I had to bring it down to size it up to 8 gauge wire. So I ran that down to the floor, and you can see that in my other video too, how I installed the 10 gauge. Then it comes over here, my battery box, which I'll put a description to this install, a link to this install in the description below. So here the wires come in off the positive side of the charge controller, come in here, and this for 2 panels was a 20 amp fuse, and I replaced it with a 40 amp. And then over here on this side is my 2000 watt inverter, Renogy, and I just ran that in from below from the battery, upsize the wires, and then I have a 200 amp fuse, and I have a shut off to it from the positive side. So in the description below I'll show that install, and then inside it has a switch where I can just hit the switch and it turns on power inside there, and I have an automatic transfer switch which is in that same video of when I installed this, and it's an automatic transfer switch, and you'll see how I'm able to power every outlet in the trailer. So the solar charges the batteries, and then the batteries go into this and then converts to 110 volts. I'm able to run the microwave, coffee pot, toaster, blender, TV off of this, or anything else, but I can't run the air conditioner, but it runs the microwave just fine. So thank you for watching, everybody. Sure appreciate it. And if you'd like to see more videos, please feel free to hit subscribe and the bell icon, and you'll see future videos. If you want, you can click on my name and then videos, and then you'll see all my videos pop up. There might be close to 50 of them now. I make no money making these. I just do it for information purposes to help other people out, and just like to share my knowledge. So happy camping, everybody, and take care and have fun. Not so fast, Mike. I thought I was done, and then I started reading more, investigating more, and found out it'd be better for me in this situation to wire in parallel instead of series like I did. So in series, I just went, you know, positive to negative, positive, negative, and round. So it's all in series. And what I found out was in series, if I have 4 panels and one is covered, then it's decreasing the output of all the panels because they're all in series. And so I found out in parallel what happens if you wire it in parallel. Then if one panel is shaded, then you will decrease down to like 75% of your output for the power coming from the solar panels. And it's a lot more complicated, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So I'm going to change my wiring. It's been a week. I've ordered some parts. It stopped raining. So here's the diagram for wiring in parallel. And what you do is you wire all the negatives together and all the positives together. So I bought these connectors. They're actually pretty big. So when I get into this area, it's going to be a big, massive cluster. And here's what the connectors look like. So I needed 6 of them. I've got a heat gun here. It's a heat tool. It's for crafts. And I'm going to heat the Eterna tape up, and that will help release it. That's what I've seen on the internet some people do. So I'm going to have to remove all this tape here, all the way over here to the fuse. And then I found within series, I was able to leave the fuse at a 10 amp fuse, and since I'm doing it in parallel, I'm going to need to go to a 30 amp fuse, so I have that also. So I'm going to be able to leave all this tape here across, and I'm not going to be able to get under here to get the connections to them, so I'm going to have to remove this tape here, unscrew these off the bracket, and then pry this up slightly. Hopefully I can get my hand in there to do the connections and not have to do all the corners to get in here to work. So I'm going to get started here. Luckily this over here, the Dicor is still soft. It's okay, you know, it's hardened a little bit, but it's going to be able to be scraped off very easy. So I'm going to get started here and show you through the process. This is working out to be a job getting this stuff off. Look at my gloves. And this is just for this side. So I was able to pull this off, this Eterna, and then here it was just being a problem, so I just decided to cut it along here because the wire is going to go along here anyway, and then I'm just going to tape over it rather than pull on it, because I'm noticing that when I pull on it, I'm pulling and the rubber roof is pulling up slightly, so I stopped that. I noticed that on the first area I used the heat on the Eterna, so even without the heat, the rubber roofing is pulling up slightly. So I'm just going to leave it alone and just go with this. And now I'm going to go on the other side and pull that up on the feet of the solar panels. Oh, this was fun to do. So I removed the tape on the top and then took the screws out that came right out. Then I used the plastic putty knife, which I found is easier to use for removing the Eterna tape and the other Dicor. I slid this underneath it and then pried it up, and then I just have a little block holding it up. That's as high as I can get it. Got all the connections here. So you can see here the rubberized roofing kind of pulled up a little bit here. So I've seen some people use like a 3M double-sided tape here instead of using Dicor and these weld nuts. And the problem is if you just use that, that 3M tape, this rubberized roofing can come up, and this thing can pull up, and pretty soon it eventually just tear your rubberized roof. So I like this idea of using the weld nut. It's a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the power off down below, and then so no solar power is coming from the panels down below while I change these connections. So here's my switch I put in for the solar shut off. So that kills the solar power coming to my controller from the solar panels. So this way, with it off, my controller won't see any surges when I unplug and plug in the solar panels up above. Now I have the positive from this panel and this panel connected into the connector here, and then I have the negative from this panel, negative from this panel connected into the connector. So now my wires that go across to the other side like that, I'll connect the positive and negatives to these and run them across, so then it'll be positive and negative going across the other side. But first I'm going to disconnect the other side right here, so I don't have the wrong power going to the wrong places on these panels, because these are wired in series right now. So I'm just going to disconnect these that come across from the side I'm working on. I have them all connected here, and now I'm just going to tuck them up underneath. I have the wires all tucked up underneath. I got one of the connectors under here, one over under this one, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the other side before I Dicor and mount these back down in place. So let's go to the other side. I've got everything wired together. It's working good, sending power to my charge controller, charging my batteries, and so I got all the connectors went together. There's a lot of them you can see here. Over here on my other side of the trailer, I have re-Dicored these panels down, screwed them down, and then put tape across here. That's all done. And then I had to make some mini extension cords here. So I bought connectors here. They come in a 5-pack. There are 5 males and 5 females. And then I use this crimping tool that I bought. It was like $13 online to crimp these connectors. These little metal ones, they work really good. So I'm glad I used this instead of just trying to crimp them with pliers. So I'm going to position all this in place. I got everything cleaned up. I used paint thinner and then wiped down the cords. I didn't get the paint thinner on the roof. I'm afraid of it doing something to the rubber roof. And then wiped everything down with Windex and then denatured alcohol. I used the Windex to kind of break down the paint thinner, and so it wouldn't eat away my wires. So here I'll get this together, and I got some zip ties. I'm probably going to zip tie some stuff together and put some tape and down, and then some of my Dicor self-leveling white sealant down, and then I have my Eterna bond tape here. So all in all, it worked out pretty good. And like I said before, this goes over and then goes down. And you can see that in my other video, which I'll put a link in the description below. I'm all done. I zip tied as much as I can together, keeping the sharp objects towards the top. And then I put tape down and some of my Dicor here. And then here I just placed a piece of tape over my existing tape I had, so this will have something to rest on. And then I just took and put some tape over one wire here instead of going over all of it like I had before. Plus, if I did, it'd be a big blob of tape. So I'm done, and I wish I had wired in parallel in the beginning, and also if I had known I was going to get a 2000 watt inverter in the future from when I had the two 100 watt panels, I would have got 400 watts to begin with. So I hope this video has been helpful and you can see what to do, what not to do, get some ideas. What you might want to do if you want to tackle solar on your own or have it installed. I'm going to leave links in the description below of my first install of the 200 watts with my controller, and then another one with my install of the inverter and automatic transfer switch, and then another one where I did the battery install, changing over from 2 12 volts to 4 6 volts. And then I'll also provide some parts that I used here, links to those, and also I'll put some links to some other YouTube channels that I looked at, showing the difference between parallel and series panels, wired in series, so you can kind of get an idea yourself. So everybody, happy camping, and thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe and leave comments if you wish, and I appreciate it very much. Take care, everyone.